Here we are, day 2 of the Longbomb challenge. If you haven't yet seen the first day, check that one out and then come back and watch this one. This one will be different to the first, however. This time around, I won't be showing you every game and result, as most of these I get my damage needed and then die, and there were just way too many games this time around to keep good pacing, so instead, I'll show you the best games of the session, so basically the ace tankers. Last video we had one ace tanker. This time, we have 2 to show you. Here's the first game. It's on Countess, and I am top tier. I'm going to check the scoreboard and see that it's tier 5s and 4s, and so I'm going to make my way to brawl in the city at first. And I will speed this up, just to keep it quick, because it does take a long time to get there. This thing is very slow. Which brings me to a topic I want to discuss, and I don't know if I want to go fully in-depth into this topic later in a separate video, but speed equipment could help this tank out so much. I could get rid of the optics that I have on it currently for speed equipment if it was just one piece. But instead, if I want a 4-kilometer increase, which should be what the one piece is, I have to put 2 pieces on and fuel. I mean, I am using fuel, but it's not really that helpful. But anyway, we're going to get a shot off into this Churchill 3 on the move. And I'm trying desperately to get another shot in, but it's fine. I tracked him, so I get some tracking assisted. And you can see, we're not even into the city yet. And we're already down 11 to 14. And already I'm making my decision to turn around. We've completely lost the north. We have an AFK light tank getting pushed by one light, but more to come. And that medium's going to probably die soon if I don't do something about it. So, knowing that I have 4 tanks going into the city against 1 spotted heavy tank, I don't need to chase that 1 bit of damage. I'm going to turn around and get some free damage over here. The AFK light is dead, so it's a medium tank who did actually take out the Stewart that was attacking him, but oh, we're just going to get an insane one-shot off on this T-28. Oof. Of course, I clipped that one. Can we do it again to an AMX ELC BIS? No, we missed. But we're going to look at this Panzer 4D. And we're going to get another one! Oh my god, that's 2 one-shots. Insane. Unfortunately, this one's a Valentine, so we're not going to be doing the exact same thing there, but what a Reaper's Medal that would have been, but we do get the kill. We're already at 1,000 damage, so doing good. Can we continue to do that? I get 94 into him to keep his track on, and Professor, who was platooned up with me in the last one, is getting me that tracking assisted. And that's what I mean with the whole, I'll take my optics off for speed equipment, because one, speed equipment would help me out so much, and optics, if I'm going for tracking assisted, optics doesn't really help me, because spotting and tracking, like I mentioned in the last video too, spotting and tracking don't both combine for mark progress for some reason. Instead, marks take your best of the 2 and only add that to your raw damage. I don't know why that's the case, but we're gonna get a filthy third-person snapshot into that Crusader. But when I asked on one of the dev streams, they gave me the answer of, well, that's the way the PC devs did it. Which makes sense, because, you know, most of this stuff we just inherently took. But I don't see why we can't change that. And when I asked if that could be changed, well, if you're keeping up with current events and stuff, the mark changes that happened a while back got negative reception. And then when they tried to change marks again for day 1 marking, they screwed it up, and everyone could get marks in 1 game. And so because of these problems, they have said they will not be touching marks for the foreseeable future. So a simple mark change of just making both combined or both assisted actually count is not going to happen. And now I'm up against a Panzer 5.4, which is a very scary tank. He could just rush me, but it looks like he's not gonna, and he's turning around and gives me a side, and I pen him with HE. We're getting a lot of HE pens this game, and it's quite surprising. And again, if in the last video, if you saw it, I mentioned that I take out my AP rounds because if I'm going to pen with AP, I'll probably pen with HE as it's only like 6 pen difference. We're being blind fired actually by something over there because Professor spotted behind us, but we're bouncing shots. No big deal. We do get spotted somehow by the AT2, but I'm going to try and blind fire here, but with a derp gun, you kind of have to aim at the floor, but if they're on a ridgeline like that, you can't really aim at the floor, so I hoped that it would miss. Funny enough, I would miss where I was aiming to go past it and maybe shoot the tank that was there, because if I just aimed where he is, your meter distance will go past that, and your shell arc will compensate, so you'll most likely just go over the heads of things if you try and directly blind fire at something, and instead you aim past it. Like, you could see there that my meter distance was saying 260, but when I directly aimed at it, it was saying 500 because it was looking at the mountain that's out of the map, actually. Just a little bit of knowledge that you have to have when playing with a derp gun if you want to mark something. But it's 4-3 now. We've done plenty of good damage, and a bit of that assisted is spotting, but most of it is tracking. From the Churchill 3 at the beginning, we got like 170. Here I'm going to use a heat round and low roll to leave him on 2. I don't think I could have penned him with HE, but it doesn't matter because he's dead anyway. And this T-40 actually ran all the way over here and is now shooting at me. Gets one shot in, but I'm at 2200 damage, so pretty good. And I'm going to get stuck on this, but we'll get past it. And I'm just thinking the light tank probably came back, but if I can just ignore it because it doesn't pen me, then I'll just go for the T-40, and hopefully I can actually pen the T-40, and I know I can with a heat round, but hopefully I don't miss or whatnot. But Professor's staying put, this heavy tank's coming around, and I'm just hoping that my optics will help me here, but they don't, which is why I kind of want to take them off anyway. But again, the speed equipment, not useful. I'm going to break down this building, and I still can't get a shot on him. But it looks like he's rushing, and he stops perfectly. We don't know where this light tank is, and I'm pretty certain the T-40 was the one that spotted me there over the building. Because with a tank like that, the way view range works, or where the way your viewfinder works, with a tank that's open top like that, they kind of, most of them, if I'm not mistaken, kind of have spots above their tank where like the person would be standing to spot over. So he probably was the one that spotted me over the building, despite not allowing me to see his tank. But we do take him out. I did pen him, I believe. And now we're going to go and pressure the cap. Normally, I don't like capping, and my chat over on Twitch knows this. It's a meme at this point. But in a situation like this, where the last tank is a light tank, and I'm this slow, lumbering Longbomb, there is no purpose in me chasing down a light tank. So either the light tank has to pressure my cap to get me to turn around and go over there, or we pressure their cap to get them to come to us. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm not hoping to like actually cap out this game. I don't want to end it with a cap, but I am hoping that the light tank is coming back to defend their base, because they should be coming back. They're not capping our base, and that heavy tank's going over there to protect it. So I know I have protection from a base cap at this point. Just getting a little push from Professor, which really only helps this tank go 1 kilometer faster. The PC speed equipment gives you a flat rate of 4 kilometers per hour. And that is very useful. It's good for tanks that go fast, because, you know, 4 is still 4. and it's good for tanks that go slow because that's a significant increase. But the way we implemented speed equipment ourselves is we made it percentage based, and we put 2 pieces out. One that gives you 5% max speed, and one that gives you 10% for 15% total for 2 equipment slots. And then you can get another 5% from running fuel. There's the light tank. It worked. They did come back to protect their base. But you have to use all 3 of those items to even get close to getting that 4 kilometer an hour top speed increase, that flat rate that PC has for 1 equipment piece. You have to waste 2 equipment piece slots and a consumable. I would prefer if we didn't have to do that. And then on top of that problem of slow tanks not really getting much benefit and really needing to put a lot of, trust into the equipment pieces and losing out on another really sucks, because fast tanks just gain so much more with it being percentage based. And that's why you see speed equipment used a lot in something like Cold War, where tanks can reach over 100 kilometers an hour with it. The light tank is coming back around. Can I one-shot them with HE? No, I cannot. 175 though. And I think they underestimate my reload. And I do finish them off with a pretty not so fully aimed shot. But there you go. The pressuring of the cap worked. It is a victory. A MVP, 8 kills, 2695 damage, 2205 base XP. And just what a phenomenal game. Phenomenal game. This was probably my best performance in this tank. This next one, still pretty good, but this one, really top notch. Turning around when realizing that we're losing our north fight, and instead of chasing down this one heavy tank in the city, turning around really gave me that good game. If I kept just tunnel visioned into the city, I would not have done this. In fact, I probably would have died with my teammates in there. But we got a Radley Walters, Devastator, Top Gun, Ace Tanker, Cool Headed, all that stuff, High Cal, Steel Wall, all the medals. Lot of base XP there. This next one, not that high. Surprised this was an ace, but it's on El Haluf. And again, just like the previous one, I'm going to speed up the beginning because it's a little bit slow to get into position with this thing. Which is why I'm really harping on the discussion of that speed equipment. Again, having to invest so much into 2 pieces of equipment and a consumable slot to get merely what you would get if we implemented it correctly is just a lot. And then, like I said, faster tanks just, it benefits them so much more. So it's not really balanced in my opinion. This first shot here, complete whiff. I thought he was going faster than he was, so the pre-fire would have been nice. Didn't work out though. But we're gonna move out into this position, which I highly do not recommend. But I'm gonna get away with it. And ooh, can we get a one shot again? No, it just went over the back of his engine deck, unfortunately. But we are actually going to get a little bit of spotting off of him. And again, I do not think I should be going for spotting in this vehicle. I think I will be taking off my optics for vents, because after I had these 2 sessions, they fixed, or it was, hold on here. I'm going to get a pen off on this Panzer IV-H with a heat round, which again, in hindsight, was a terrible idea because that heat round could have been eaten by his face shield. But luckily, it looks like I hit the upper part of his upper deck or whatever on his hull. That could have gone poorly, but we managed to pen it anyway. We're going to come up here and making this play too. Would not recommend. We could get shot in the side if spotted, but we're down 8-11 and I got to make a play and I got to get here quickly. I was already almost out in the open anyway, so Professor helping me up here to do something. I'm going to start shooting these tanks in the side. Panzer IV Hydrostat is what that stands for. kind of a lot of HP for a tier 5 medium, and I'm hoping to get some of that, but we're going to shoot the side of this Bogatyr. He's going to poke again, and I kind of wish I got a shot off there. Was about to shoot the side of that T14, but unfortunately he backed off. Someone took a nice hit into him, so I only get 12, 14 damage, whatever that was there. And now I'm going to poke this ridge, and you would think, shoot the Bogatyr. No. I'm going to load my heat again, and I'm going to pen this Panzer IV Hydrostat. And then a toaster tank comes around the corner. He bounces me, and a one-shot. There's another one-shot for you. Really fun to do that, but probably not fun for the enemy. I don't know if we'll ever do that mid-tier HP buff, but it would be nice. Kill the Hydrostat as well, and I'm going to kill the Bogatyr. So now it's down 7-5, and we kind of brought it back. We were 8-11 before I came up this hill. And before I came up this hill, we were talking about the buff to Born Leader. I want to remove optics, to put back on my vents, to get my reload down even further, because now it's 5-5, but they fixed the fact that Born Leader now will work on your perks. So for a time, we all thought that's what it was doing, and it should have been doing, but it only worked against your crew performance, like your baseline stats and whatnot. So they fixed the description on it to only mention that, but they finally got it to work with perks, and they fixed the description yet again. And now I'm just messing up this Churchill 1, but I realized that the reload got even better after that. So now I kind of want to put vents on, go even further, which I have done, and it gets down below 6 seconds, which is just insane for this tank, because with food you can get down, food active, you can get that down even further. Another Panzer V4, who I'm surprised isn't just messing us up, but I also didn't realize we have a heavy tank at D1. I don't think he's going to make it much longer, but Professor's going to take on this 5-4, and I say to Professor, you have more HP, you have the better DPM, you should be fine, right? I want to see if this Churchill comes up here. Professor is fine, of course. Leave it to the man to have my back. Here's the Churchill, get a nice 107 to him. Is he going to continue to poke? Probably not. But our heavy tank is still alive over there. But not for long. Churchill is just going to sit here and wait us out. I presumed that the other heavy tank would fight our heavy tank, and that a tank destroyer would be, you know, helping out this Churchill. But no, the tank destroyer is behind us, and it's another toaster. I desperately want to one-shot another toaster. That would be phenomenal, but I'm worried that we're not going to be able to, and he does take out the KV-1. I tell Professor, I have this toaster, if you don't mind. It looks like he's going to poke out. I'm like, Prof, get back behind the cover. Maybe he'll come out. But he doesn't. And, well, in a moment here, yep, there it is. They're going to start pressuring our cap. And unfortunately, I hit this man's gun, so I don't get that one shot off. But I chase. And watching these back, you can, you know, tell a lot about what you were thinking and how you could have done it better. And right here is one of those things where, had I not chased, had I turned around remembering that that Churchill was there, and also misremembering how fast a toaster is, because that toaster's gone. He's really fast, but Professor now has to fight this Churchill by himself, which he takes care of. And by the time I get around this corner, the toaster's already out of my field of view, and Professor messes him up too. So, again, in hindsight, should have turned around and gotten some damage, but I went and I chased because I didn't pen, and I really wanted to kill that thing with HE again. But anyway, Professor's going to help me out here to get some damage back. He's going to stop the cap momentarily, and then I'm going to have to make my way up this hill. And again, without the speed equipment stuff, it's going to take me quite a long time. So now we can just discuss that stuff without any further interruptions, hopefully. I think I will make a video in the future discussing why speed equipment is so broken and inherently unfun. Because what the turbocharger was kind of used for was to make slow tanks much better, because 4 kilometer an hour flat rate is a big increase on something that goes only 20, 22, 24 kilometers an hour. And putting it on something that goes 45 is still a nice chunk, but it doesn't make them insanely fast all of a sudden. It doesn't really impact them that much. So it's more like, do I want that extra speed? But on a slow tank, yeah, I'll take that extra speed. With the way we implemented speed equipment as percentage based, it really only means it's only useful on tanks that go fast already to make them even faster. So a tank that goes 80 kilometers an hour can now go 100 plus kilometers an hour. And I don't really think that's fair. But here we are. We finally made it. And I missed my first shot. Oof. But we are just going to shoot HE at him. And we're going to just pepper him to death. We're just going to take away all his health at... What was he at? 560 something? So we're going to just get a nice chunk of damage here. And I don't know if he can see us. I would presume so. He could see my cupola, but he's not taking shots. So I'm not really worried about it. Just free damage at the end of the game, I suppose. If I can hit him, though, that is. Missing a lot of shots. And you can also see how I was mentioning earlier that we got a little bit of spotting damage on that T-28 at the beginning of the game, and that's all we got. We didn't get a lot of tracking. And by a lot of tracking, I mean 0 tracking. But I should still go for tracking more than spotting. But anyway, that is another ace tanker. It is only 1875 base XP, though. 2680 damage and 6 kills. Quite a big change from 2200 to 1875. Both of them were top tier games, so it's not like in the other one I was shooting, you know, tier 7s and whatnot, but probably because I got a lot less medals. I didn't get a steel wall, I didn't get a devastator, you know, all those medals really add up. But in this session, in this play session, with this final game here, I did get the 1 mark on the Longbomb. So there it is. 2 sessions in, and we're already 1 marked. We're a third of the way there, right? No, if you know anything about marking, it takes a lot longer after you get this first mark, get the second mark, and then a lot longer to get the third mark. But there it is, the 1 mark on the Longbomb achieved. If you've forgotten why this challenge exists, though, our friend xiverisx has already 3 marked his Longbomb. And so, in a joking manner, he said to me, now that he's CC, I said I would 3 mark the Longbomb. And you know what? I took him up on that joke. But I made him do something too. He has to 3 mark the Sturmtiger. So if you want to go see his progress, check out his YouTube, check out his Twitch, and ask him how he's doing. I don't want to tell you where he's at, but I'll tell you that we're kind of sitting pretty in the same place. But anyways, that was day 2. I gotta go play day 3 now, and who knows how far I dropped because it's been a while. But I'll see you when it happens. For now, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.